Welcome back, guys. Today we are going to discuss about variables in Python, and in this lecture we are going to discuss about variables, what variables are, how to assign a variable value to a variable, and we will also be looking at the things which happens in the backend when we assign a value to a variable. So let's discuss it. So first of all, here we have variables. What variables are? Variables are the reserved memory location in the main memory. These are the memory locations which we reserved for a specific data in the main memory. What main memory is? Main memory is temporary memory which a processor can immediately access, right? What are the characteristics of variables? There are three characteristics of variables: name, address, and content. First of all, we give the name to a variable, then we give an address to the variable. After this, the content of the variable is, for example, whatever thing we assign to a variable is called its content. Before get into the variables, first we have to understand what is the main memory. So here it is. We have memory, the storage region of a computer to which the central processor has the immediate or direct access, and the memory consists of several tiny containers. It means that here is the memory. There is some part of computer which this processor can easily access, immediately access for several times, many times. If there is a temporary data stored in it, data which we access immediately, the processor can easily access this data. To give you the visualization of this, I have these containers. For example, this is our memory, and the memory is built of these small tiny containers. Here there are several tiny containers in it, and if we assign a value to a variable, for example, if I say x is equal to 2, and I have assigned this content, this 2, to this variable, during this process I am just requesting the computer that give me a value, give me a container in the memory in which I can store the data, in which I can write the data, in which I can place or put something here in that, right? And here we have it. If I say x is equal to name of the variable, 2 is the content of the variable, and this address is the address of this container which I have get from the memory. And here is the complete example of it. The address is hexadecimal. In memory we use hexadecimal addresses because the addresses of binary addresses are too large that we cannot accommodate that, so we use in its hexa form. And this is the name of that variable x, and this is the content of that variable. And now we have to understand that what type of content a variable can carry. We can save the data in these containers, but there are several rules that how we can store this data in this container. So here is that. If I say content of variable, there are basically three types of content which we can store in the variable. First is integer, then it comes strings, and then it comes floating point numbers, right? The process of storing the data of integers or floating point number is quite similar. There is no difference, but for string there is an exception. First talk about integers and floating point numbers. As in this slide I have explained you that x is equal to 2 is an integer, and this is a process for integer. And if I will put 2.0, then there will be no difference between it, because for integer and for floating point number it is quite similar. And now we come to exception. String. We know what string is. String is a collection of a lot of words, symbols, and integers and floating point numbers, all these, right? So the size of the string is larger than the one container. So in this process, what we'll do, we request the computer to give us a group of containers, so we can contain this string in the disable containers. For example, I have taken an example, hello world. I have assigned this string to this variable, and now I will during assigning it, I am requesting the computer that give me these blocks, these containers, so I can put the data in it in these containers. And here we have put it hello world, right? And there is also space for, there is also a container for accommodating the space, right? So now we have visualized that when we assign something to a variable, what happens in the backend, what CPU does, what memory does, what is the connection between these two, how memory get the data, how when we get the data. And to have it to have the better understanding, we will do it practically on Spider. So let's go. Here we have Spider. I'm going to open it, and here I have assigned x a content which is 5, for x is equal to 5. And now just let me clear the console, and if I say x, and I get the value 5, and after this if I say print x, it will also do the same thing. And first of all I have to uncomment this, and then now if I run this, I get 5. The process, the work is the same. And y is equal to 4, and then I get print 5, and I get y, x, value of x, and as well as value of y. But now I want that the value of x and y is added, and then store this value to another variable which is z. And if I run this, first of all I have to print it out, and if I now run this, I get 9, the sum of these two. So these are some things which we must understand, that how now you can understand that what is happening in the backend, what the CPU is doing right now, what is memory doing right now, because the time frame for these functions is very small, but still then we can visualize them, right? Now there are some rules to assign a value to a variable. What are these rules? A variable cannot be started with any integer. For example, if I say x is equal to, if I just comment it out, and I say here x1 is equal to 5, this is right, there is no problem in it, because the name of the variable is not starting with 1 with any integer. But if I say 1x is equal to 5, then here will be a syntax error. The Spider will tell us there is error in assigning the name to the variable. And the other one rule which is quite similar to it, we cannot give a space between the name of the variable. If I say x variable 1 is equal to 5, and if I run this, I will again get a syntax error. So to remove this, we use underscore instead of a space, and now if I run this, there will be no error, right? And one more thing which we should understand is, it is a very good habit to give a variable a reasonable name, because in long codes, when you will be debugging the program, or when you will be reading the program again and again, you will be having a lot of problems if you will not assign the variable a reasonable name. What I am talking about, for example, if I say x is equal to 2, y is equal to 3, and z is equal to x multiplied by y square, and now if I run this, there is no error. And if I want to print z, and then you get this, right? So what is the problem? Looking at this code, you cannot understand what is happening, but instead of this code, if I use these names, you will be having a better idea that what I am doing here. For example, I say radius is equal to 2, pi is equal to 3.14, and the area of the circle is this. And now if I run this, now you can understand that I am trying to get the area of the circle through this code. So this is a better way when you will be having long codes, then it will help you when you will be have given that the right names to the variables. The last thing I want to tell you in this lecture here, if I say, I'm going to comment it out, and if I say x is equal to 5, and now I was talking about the address of the container, what the address of the container does. So here is the function. Now I am calling the address of that function. If I run this, now I get the address of that particular container in which the value of x5 is being stored, right? Now you can understand that how to visualize the backend of the computer, how to visualize the flow of data beneath the computer, right? And this is for today lecture, and I will see you in next lecture.